Hi YouTube family, it's Daughter of the Most High. I hope you're doing well. I have a very short part 2 to my last video, the story about the woman at work. I shared in my last video that I had talked to her about the Lord months ago after she had her cancer diagnosis, and she is 91. She'd be 92 in 3 months. So she has dementia, and tracking, cognitive tracking isn't quite there. But I did the best I could, and I think the things of the Lord bypass the mind and touch the spirit. So I did share the Lord with her. Well, then I shared about when I stopped in at work on Sunday night wanting to switch my days and my work days, and I went in to see her, and all those steps were planned by the Lord completely. So, and I'm so grateful for that. So when I touched her, it was really just with my fingertips, and I touched her shoulder, and the anointing just poured into her. And I've only had that a couple of times. Usually I lay my hands on someone. It does start pretty quickly, but I'll start praying for that person. Whereas when the anointing flows ahead of my mind or before I say anything, that's what I'm saying. It happened that way. And so I just waited it out. I felt the anointing moving through my body, down my arm, through my fingers, and into her. And so I worked on Monday, and that happened Sunday night. I come home on my break, and to let my dogs out, I make a cup of coffee, and then I go back to work. Well, I came upstairs because I had left some windows open, and it was raining and storming out, so I had to close them and wipe off the windowsill. When I came upstairs, my son's curtains were partway in his room, and one curtain panel was in the hallway. So I'm coming up the stairs. His curtains are black. I could see the black curtain, and I thought, what in the world? So I kept going up the stairs, and I saw that his curtain rod was in his room, and this curtain panel was pulled off. So I texted my son, and I said, did something happen before you went to work that this curtain is down and the panel is pulled off the curtain rod? And he said no. So I knew, and I've worked in faith-based treatment for 5 years. I had so many incidents, so many supernatural incidents when the enemy was so giving me pushback and letting me know to back off on my Christian walk so many times. And that was the first 5 years of my 18 years of working in treatment. But I'm well acquainted with what the enemy does and will do when he's trying to drive you back and say, you keep doing this and you're going to pay in some way. That's what the enemy does. So my son's curtains are on a tension rod inside the window frame. So they didn't get pulled down like they were nailed up or whatever. It's not like that. It's a tension rod. But his curtains, now they have fallen down before, just in the natural shifting of things, but they fall down right below his window. They're not dragged out into, yeah. So I knew the enemy was letting me know he was here and acting up, and was quite upset that he had nearly had this woman. Now, I did not work today. I go in tomorrow. I'm thinking, given what I saw last night, I'm thinking she most likely passed during the night or sometime today. She's had only drops of water and no food, and she is on her deathbed. And she's so cute because when I was there Monday night, she smiled at me a couple of times, and I know she's just, you know, struggling on her deathbed. It just puts tears in my eyes. This woman is so sweet. It's like she always like has something for you, a smile. And before she was in this condition, it was a how are you? You know, and she asked that like she really cared and waited for the answer. She's just the sweetest thing. So I just adore her. I'm thinking she passed now. I'll find out tomorrow, but I'm thinking that's the case. And the enemy, God ordered my steps. I don't fully understand everything. She did the best she could for a 91-year-old woman with dementia months ago when we walked through, receiving the Lord into her heart and repenting of her sin. And yeah, I mean, we didn't go through her list of sins. It wasn't an inventory. It wasn't anything. It was just me, talking and praying with her. And then, of course, what occurred on Sunday night when I went in. Yeah, I mean, I was just shocked. And I can't even tell you how much I love watching the Lord work. It's so wonderful. And I love being used by Him, and I love reaching people. And it's not me, He's just using me. I didn't know where things were at with her. This recent decline was very sudden. I didn't know it would be the end, and it clearly is. And the enemy is mad. I feel like when the curtains were on the floor and the one pulled off the rod, pulled out into the hallway, the enemy was throwing a fit in my son's room. So, but I don't care. I just keep going. I've had many incidences of the enemy's attacks, telling me to back off and be quiet and stop sharing the Lord, but I never will. I didn't when I was at Teen Challenge, and I had this a regular pattern in my life. I had such a boldness in Teen Challenge that sometimes I look back on those years and I love those years and I love the ministry, but I'm still kind of surprised sometimes that boldness that just came out there. And so I would, talk to people about their lives, about their use, getting sober, and laying hands on them, praying for them, ministering, all that kind of stuff, and people would get set free, some from addiction, some had demons. I've heard demons growl through one man that was one of my clients. They would growl. You could hear their growl come up through his mouth. Yeah, talk about weird, but I could hear it. He heard it too. When that would happen, he would start to talk to cover it up. But he and I knew that was happening, so he didn't have to do that with me, but he did it with others. Yeah, talk about weird. But if you come out into the deep, when Jesus said that to the disciples, come on out into the deep. This is the deep, I mean, of course, the countries where they worship Satan and they don't even know what they're doing, but they have so much demonic activity. I mean, that's really, that and the hood and other places is really coming out into the deep. But I've at least been on the edge of some of it, and just, pushing through so that I could, share Christ with people, lay hands on people, pray, share salvation, share truths, and I hope you're doing that too. And you'll see God work in your life, and you'll see the enemy throw his fits. So anyway, fam, it's getting late. This girl's tired. I got to do my dishes. But I wanted to share that with you. And I hope you're doing well, and I hope to see you, chat with you soon. All right, thanks, fam.